Hey gamers! Are you ready to dive into the exciting world of Call of Duty Mobile? Well, get ready because in this video, we are going to take you on a thrilling adventure through the complete basic settings of Call of Duty Mobile. From optimizing your controls to enhancing your gameplay experience, we've got you covered. We'll walk you through each setting step by step, showing you how to customize your layout, adjust sensitivity, and even fine-tune your audio preferences. But before we jump right into it, I want to ask you something. Are you as excited as we are? If so, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash the like button to stay updated with all the amazing content we have in store for you. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. So sit back, relax, and get ready to level up your Call of Duty mobile skills with our complete basic settings guide. Let's go. Let's dive into the first settings in Basic Battle Royale. The very first setting you mentioned is Quick Run from Prone. When this option is set to off, it means that when we're lying prone on the ground and we push the joystick upwards, our character won't start running. Instead, they will continue in the prone position. However, when you turn this option on, things change. Now, when you're in the prone position and push the joystick upwards, your character will start running. This can be really helpful, especially when you're camping in one spot and enemies are trying to rush you. Being able to quickly switch from prone to running can give you a tactical advantage. I recommend trying out these settings to see which one works best for you. The next setting in basic settings is Joystick Auto Sprint. Let's see what this setting does in the game. When this setting is turned off, what happens in the game? When we're playing and we push the joystick upwards, a sprint icon appears. However, when we turn this setting off, the sprint icon no longer appears, and we can't lock onto that icon to make our character start running automatically. This setting allows for that functionality. But if we turn this setting on, the sprint icon will appear, and we can lock onto it, causing our character to continue running indefinitely. My recommendation to you is to turn this setting on because it proves to be more useful in most Battle Royale situations. The next setting is Auto Open Doors, which is incredibly simple and practical. If we turn this option off, when we get close to a door, it won't automatically open for us. We'll have to use the same button that appears on the screen to manually open or close the door. However, when we turn this option on, as soon as we approach a door and make contact with it, it will automatically open for us. This is a highly useful feature as it saves us the extra step of manually interacting with each door. It's important to note that in custom rooms, if the doors don't open for you, it's not because of your settings. It means that the room owner has disabled this feature. I strongly recommend turning on this setting for a smoother gameplay experience. The next setting is Fixed Joystick, and it greatly affects the movement controls. If we turn this setting on, the joystick remains fixed in place and won't move as we move our thumb. However, if we touch below the joystick, it will change the camera angle, which can be quite troublesome. On the other hand, when this setting is turned off, wherever we place our finger, the joystick moves in that direction, preventing sudden camera rotations. It's worth noting that this setting ultimately depends on personal preference and playstyle. Some players may find it easier to have the joystick fixed, while others prefer the dynamic movement. Experiment with both options to see which one feels more comfortable and suits your gameplay style. The next setting is Fixed R-Fire BTN, which refers to the fixed right fire button. When this setting is turned on, the right fire button remains stationary and doesn't move when we shoot, regardless of how we move our thumb. This setting can be practical as it ensures the button stays in place for consistent aiming. However, when this setting is turned off, the right fire button moves in response to our thumb's movement. This means that whenever we tap the R-Fire BTN, the right fire button, it can shift from its original position, causing the gun to shoot wherever we place our finger on the screen. This can be quite frustrating and inconvenient. I highly recommend enabling this setting by turning it on. This ensures that the right fire button stays fixed in place, providing a more stable shooting experience without the risk of accidentally misplacing the button while aiming or shooting. The next setting is Right Fire Button for Fixed Perspective. If this setting is turned on, when we shoot and move our thumb towards the left or right, the aiming direction of the shots won't adjust accordingly. the shots will only be fired straight ahead. However, when we turn this setting off, if our thumb is on the fire button and we move it towards the left or right, the gun will adjust its aiming direction accordingly. It will be directed towards the same direction as our thumb movement. Considering this, it is better to turn off this setting, as it allows for more flexibility and control over your aiming direction. By disabling this setting, you can adjust your shots by moving your thumb towards the left or right as needed. Remember, personal preference and comfort play a key role in choosing and adjusting settings. Feel free to experiment with different settings and select the one that suits your gameplay style best. The next setting is Aim Assist, and it can have a significant impact on your gameplay. When this setting is turned off, if an enemy moves in front of us, our aim won't automatically adjust, and the game won't assist us in aiming. We will have to manually adjust our aim to track the enemy's movement. However, when we turn this setting on, if an enemy moves towards us or changes position, our aim will slightly track their movement without requiring much input from us. It provides a subtle assistance in aiming towards the enemy's position. Enabling aim assist can be helpful, especially in fast-paced situations where enemies are constantly moving. It allows for smoother and quicker target acquisition, giving you an advantage during combat. The next setting is specifically for shotguns players. In this setting, when it is turned off, you can simply tap on the fire button to shoot, and your shotgun will start firing. However, when this setting is turned on, you have to release the fire button to initiate the shotgun's firing action. Based on my suggestion, it is recommended to turn off this setting. With this setting disabled, you can shoot the shotgun more smoothly without the need to release the fire button, providing a faster and more responsive shooting experience. The fixed virtual joystick display position settings in Call of Duty Mobile are used to determine the location at which the virtual joystick buttons appear on the screen. With these settings, you can customize the position of the virtual joystick buttons on your display. When these settings are enabled, the virtual joystick buttons are placed at a specific position, and they do not move when you switch between vertical and horizontal screen orientations. This ensures that your hand movements can be comfortably managed, and the buttons remain fixed in their intended positions for your fingers to interact with. These settings allow you to set the desired location for the virtual joystick buttons. Some players may prefer to have them placed at the top of the screen, while others may prefer them at the bottom. It gives you the flexibility to customize the appearance and position of the virtual joystick buttons to suit your preferences. The continuous grenade throw settings in Call of Duty Mobile are used to determine the behavior of throwing grenades in a continuous and consecutive manner. With these settings, you can define whether, after throwing one grenade, the next one is automatically thrown without delay, or if you need to press the throw button for each subsequent grenade. Set it to On if you prefer a continuous and consecutive throwing of grenades. When these settings are enabled, after the initial throw, each time you press the throw button, the next grenade will be immediately thrown. This allows you to rapidly throw multiple grenades without the need to press the throw button for each one. Utilizing these settings can be beneficial, especially when you require the maximum number of grenades to be thrown quickly. With these settings active, you can swiftly throw multiple consecutive grenades without the need to individually press the throw button for each throw. The Hide Prone button, Hold Crouch to Prone setting in Call of Duty Mobile is used to determine the functionality of the prone button. These settings allow you to define how you enter the prone position using different methods. When these settings are enabled, the prone button is hidden, and instead, you must hold down the crouch button to enter the prone position. By holding the crouch button, your character will automatically transition into the prone position. These settings provide an alternative way to enter the prone position that may be more suitable for your playstyle or preferences. It can be useful for quickly accessing the prone position and reducing the time needed to switch between different stances, such as crouching and walking. However, please note that the usage of these settings depends on your personal playstyle and preferences. It is recommended to adjust these settings based on your specific needs and gaming patterns through experimentation and experience. The quick weapon switch settings in Call of Duty Mobile are used to determine how to quickly switch weapons. These settings allow you to define a method for the fastest switch between your weapons. When these settings are enabled, you can swiftly switch between weapons using designated keys without the need to open the weapon menu. By activating these settings, weapon changes take place rapidly and instantly, allowing you to quickly switch between different weapons during gameplay. Using these settings can be useful in hypothetical situations where a rapid weapon change is needed. With this approach, you can seamlessly and quickly switch from one weapon to another during combat without interruptions and with greater speed. The fast scope switch settings in Call of Duty Mobile are used to determine how to quickly switch between the scope and regular weapon modes in the game. When this setting is enabled, you can quickly switch between the scope mode and the standard weapon mode with a single quick click. This allows you to swiftly transition to the scope mode when you need more power and precision, without having to navigate through game menus. In general, using the fast scope switch settings in first-person action games like Call of Duty Mobile can be beneficial for players who prefer quick utilization of the scope. By activating this setting, you can rapidly switch between the standard and scope modes in critical and high-speed situations without manually accessing menus and wasting extra time. Ultimately, the usage of this setting depends on your gameplay style and preferences. Some players may test and experiment with settings like fast scope switch to determine if it suits their playing style or not. The ADS button for rotation settings in Call of Duty Mobile are used to adjust the behavior of the aim down sight ADS button during rotation. When this setting is enabled, you can determine whether the ADS button remains fixed during your rotation or if it should change direction with your rotation. By default, when you rotate or look in a different direction, the ADS button also rotates and aims in the new direction. However, by enabling ADS button for rotation, you can change this behavior. If you set the ADS button for rotation settings to fixed, the ADS button will stay fixed during rotation and won't change direction. This allows you to continue aiming at a specific point regardless of the device rotation. Alternatively, if you choose the dynamic option, the ADS button will also change direction during rotation. In this mode, the ADS button will synchronize with your device rotation. The slide hint settings in Call of Duty Mobile are used to control the movement and functionality of sliding in the game. When this setting is enabled, it provides you with a visual hint or indicator for performing a sliding motion. By enabling slide hint, when you slide your finger downward on the screen, a symbol or game hint will be displayed to indicate the specific action associated with the sliding motion. This hint typically helps you better utilize sliding movements in the game. For example, when you slide your finger downward for quick forward movement or to evade obstacles, a symbol indicating forward motion or escaping may appear on the screen. These symbols allow you to move quickly and more effectively and make appropriate strategic choices in the game. The slide hint settings facilitate your understanding and improvement of your sliding strategy and performance in the game. It helps you make more accurate and swift decisions, as well as execute the necessary sliding movements in the game. The next setting is the Perspective Teammates setting, which determines whether or not we can see our teammates when they are behind different surfaces or buildings in the game. If this setting is turned off, we won't be able to see our teammates and won't have precise knowledge of their locations. However, if we enable this setting, our teammates will appear as holograms wherever they are on the map, allowing us to be aware of their precise positions even when they are behind various surfaces. It is highly recommended to turn on this setting as it greatly enhances gameplay and team coordination. The next setting is called Shotgun Hit Reminder. If this setting is disabled, when we start shooting with a shotgun, it won't show us any indication of where our bullets hit the enemy's body. However, if we enable this setting, it will precisely show us the exact location where the shotgun bullets hit the enemy. If you turn off this setting, it's better. The correct camera from jump window setting in Call of Duty Mobile serves a specific purpose. This setting helps players achieve greater precision when jumping out of windows or high areas. When this setting is enabled, as you jump downwards from a window or high platform, the camera automatically adjusts itself towards your intended destination. This allows you to spot and observe enemies before landing from a building or elevated position, enabling you to strategize accordingly. By utilizing the correct camera from jump window setting, you can gain a tactical advantage by having better camera control during your descent after jumping from windows or elevated areas. The next setting is called Automated Armor. If this setting is disabled and we press the armor button once, it equips the armor and remains active. However, if we enable this setting, when our health is low and we press the armor button, it will keep equipping armor until our health is fully replenished. By enabling Automated Armor, it ensures that our character automatically equips armor whenever our health is low, providing continuous protection without the need for manual intervention. This setting allows us to focus on the gameplay without worrying about constantly equipping armor when our health is depleted. The automated process ensures that our character remains protected by equipping armor until our health is fully restored. The next settings are the Auto-Expended Wingsuit settings. If this setting is turned off, we have manual control over the wingsuit, and we can use the jump button to control the wingsuit. However, if the wingsuit settings are turned on, the wingsuit will automatically deploy when needed. The next settings are the Weapon Inspection settings. If this setting is turned off, we don't have a direct option to inspect the weapon. However, if we enable these settings, an additional option will be added that allows us to directly showcase our weapon when we click on it. The next setting is called Smart Med Recommendation. If this setting is turned on, when you are low on health, the game will automatically select the best available med kit from your backpack and make it available for use. The next settings are for splitting the throw button, which has not yet been activated in the Battle Royale section. The next settings are for the Enemy Tactical Scope Flash. If these settings are turned off, when an enemy sniper aims at you, no warning will be given. However, if you turn on these settings, when snipers aim towards you, a flash-like indicator will appear, giving you a warning that there is a sniper ahead of you. The next settings are specific to jumping and ascending from different levels in the game. These settings are very useful. If they are turned off, when we are near different levels in the game and press the jump button, it automatically goes up from those levels and we can easily navigate through them. For kids, it's enough to click on the jump button. But if we turn on these settings, when we go up from different levels, if we click on the jump button, contrary to when these settings are turned off, it doesn't go up from that level. The next settings are for viewing the Inception weapon profile while walking or lying down. If these settings are turned off, when we try to move and view the Inception profile, it cancels the Inception profile. The next setting is Sync Adds FOV to Scope Zoom. If this setting is turned off, when we aim, the field of view, FOV, narrows down, allowing us to see a closer view. However, if we turn on this setting and aim, there won't be any changes in the FOV. The next setting is 3D Get Hit Hint. If this setting is turned off, it won't show which direction the enemy is shooting at you from. However, if this setting is turned on, it will display the trajectory of the bullet, allowing you to understand the direction from which you are being shot. The next setting is Transparentize Player Near Obstruction in TPP. When this setting is turned on and you move near walls in the game, your character will become transparent, allowing you to see the environment better. By turning it off, your character will no longer be transparent. The next settings are Execution settings, which appear as a skeleton-like option in their respective sections. You can use it for the finisher animation, and it is intended to add more finishers to the game in future seasons. The next settings are Movable Joystick settings, which have 3 modes. The default mode is nice because we can move with it, and it is the default mode for all settings. However, the second mode is the Follow mode. If we enable these settings, wherever we move our finger, the joystick will move in the same direction and follow it. These settings are useful for making our character start running wherever we place our finger on the screen. This way, it keeps the character moving and reduces the time spent stationary on the ground. But personally, I don't recommend this option to you. The third mode is the Locked mode. If you activate these settings, it's as if you have exactly enabled the fixed joystick settings. They work exactly the same way and have no difference between them. The secondary fire mode settings in Call of Duty Mobile are used to select the secondary firing mode for weapons. In certain weapons, it allows you to switch between the primary firing mode and a secondary firing mode. When you enable this mode, you have the ability to choose between automatic fire and a burst fire mode specific to each weapon. This setting can be helpful in adapting to different combat situations on the battlefield. For example, in some weapons, the primary firing mode may not be suitable for close-range attacks, and in such cases, you can switch to the secondary firing mode, which enables more accurate and powerful shots at longer distances. This setting allows you to switch between suitable firing modes based on the conditions and varying distances during battles, optimizing your performance. The MISTOUCH prevention mode settings in Call of Duty Mobile are used to prevent unintended actions or mistouches during gameplay. When you enable this mode, it ensures that the user interface, UI design, is optimized to minimize errors from accidental button presses or incorrect gestures. To address these issues, the MISTOUCH prevention mode settings are employed in Call of Duty Mobile. These settings may include factors such as increasing the spacing between buttons, resizing the buttons, limiting unintended finger movements on the screen, and more. The aim of these settings is to prevent aimless touches and unintended errors, thereby enhancing your gaming experience. The damage number settings in Call of Duty Mobile are used to adjust the display of damage values, allowing you to easily track and assess the impact of your attacks on enemies or targets. When you enable this setting, the damage inflicted is shown as numerical values, giving you information about the amount of damage dealt. These numbers are typically displayed when you hit enemies or other targets. This feature can help you better evaluate the accuracy and effectiveness of your attacks, ultimately improving your performance. The next settings are specific to opening the parachute. If the option is set to slide to change direction, when we pull our hand on the screen to open the parachute, the character's direction will change accordingly. However, if the option is set to slide to look around, when we open the parachute and slide our hand on the screen, the character's direction will not change, but instead we can look around the game environment. I suggest setting it to slide to change direction. The next settings for thee are about ADS. The first option, Tap to ADS, works in a way that when we click on ADS, if we remove our hand, it stays in the ADS mode and the aim is not affected. These settings are not suitable for Battle Royale. The next option is Tap and Hold to ADS. With this option, if we remove our hand from aim, the aim weapon is also removed. I recommend using this option in Battle Royale. The next option is Hybrid ADS, which is a mixture of the first two options, but with the difference that it starts opening the aim camera. In my opinion, Tap and Hold to ADS is much better. The fourth option is Double Tap to ADS. When we turn on this setting, the ADS button is removed, and by double-clicking on the right side of the screen, the ADS option is activated. The next settings are about the Display Left Fire button option. When it is set to On, a bullet appears on the left side of the screen for you, and you can start shooting from that side as well. The next option is While Ads. When this option is selected, the button becomes active on the left side when we aim. The last option removes this button. These settings give you flexibility in customizing your gameplay experience by allowing you to choose how you want the left fire button to be displayed and activated. Whether you prefer having a dedicated button on the left side of the screen or want it to appear only when aiming, these options allow you to tailor the controls to your preference. The next settings are for sliding. If the option Tap Crouch while sprinting is selected, when we tap on the slide button, our character will perform a slide. However, if the option Hold Crouch while sprinting is chosen, we need to hold the slide button for our character to start sliding. These settings determine the action taken when we interact with the slide button during sprinting. It allows for different ways of triggering the sliding motion based on personal preference and playstyle. The Always Sprint setting in Call of Duty Mobile allows you to move at a high speed by default without the need to hold down the sprint button. By enabling this setting, you can continuously move at a high speed in the game without having to constantly press the sprint button. When this setting is active, you can easily and quickly navigate through various points on the map, identify enemies faster, and swiftly move to cover or safe locations. This capability gives you an advantage in the game as it frees up your hands from holding down the sprint button, allowing you to focus more on other important actions. You can find the Always Sprint setting in the Settings section of Call of Duty Mobile and enable or disable it according to your preference. The next settings are for the gyroscope, which makes the in-game screen tilt when you tilt your phone. This option requires some practice until you get used to the gyroscope, but it can enhance your gameplay skills. When the gyroscope is enabled, it adds an extra layer of immersion and control to your gaming experience. By physically moving your device, you can intuitively tilt the in-game camera or adjust your aim, providing a more realistic and intuitive way to interact with the game world. The FOV, Field of View Range, first-person settings in Call of Duty. Mobile are used to adjust the field of view in the first-person perspective. FOV refers to the extent of your view of the game world. Increasing it widens your field of view, while decreasing it narrows your field of view. In the first-person mode, you assume the character's perspective, and your view is from their eyes. By adjusting the FOV range settings, you can customize the angle of your view to suit your gameplay style and personal preferences. Increasing the FOV range provides a wider view of the game environment, allowing you to see more of your surroundings and spot enemies more easily. It can give you a sense of freedom and increased situational awareness in the game. On the other hand, decreasing the FOV range limits and concentrates your view. This can be useful for some players, especially in fast-paced or tactical gameplay. Reducing the FOV can potentially improve your accuracy in aiming and help you spot enemies more effectively. The settings for camera FOV in Call of Duty Mobile are used to adjust the camera's field of view FOV angle in the game. TPP stands for third-person perspective. In this mode, instead of the camera being positioned behind the player's character on their shoulders, it is placed in front of them. Players can manually change the camera FOV settings. By adjusting the field of view, you can see more of the environment around your character and improve your accuracy and strategic gameplay. In general, the FOV settings should be adjusted so that you can not only see your character, but also a portion of the surrounding environment. Essentially, you should set the FOV in a way that allows you to have a good view of both your character and a portion of the surroundings. This helps you better understand the game environment and improves your strategies and performance. The Show Sound Location setting in Call of Duty Mobile is used to display the locations of sounds within the game environment. When enabled, this setting allows you to see the areas where sounds are occurring and provides you with more information about the position and direction of the sounds. When you have control of the game and activate the Show Sound Location setting, you can see indicators on the game map that show where the sounds are coming from and the direction they are moving in. This can assist you in identifying enemy positions, determining the primary direction of the sounds, and strategizing accordingly. The Show Sound Reminder in the main HUD setting is also a feature in the game Call of Duty Mobile that allows you to have an audio reminder displayed in the main HUD panel based on all the important sounds in the game. The purpose of this feature is to inform you whenever an important sound is heard in the game. When this setting is active, every time a sound like an explosion, gunfire, or grenades occurs in the game, an icon or text is displayed on the game screen to let you know what sound has been heard. This helps you react quickly and adjust your strategies accordingly if necessary. Dear friends, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Today we talked about an interesting topic, and I hope the information provided to you has been helpful. Our goal in creating this video was to assist you in gaining a better understanding of this subject. If you still have any questions or comments you'd like to express, please write them in the comments section below the video. We would be delighted to read your thoughts and answer your questions. Furthermore, if you liked this video, please share it with your friends. It can help others enjoy this content, just like you did. Thank you for joining us in this video, and we look forward to seeing you in future videos.